So I've just caught up on the whole Destiny Ayava situation, and holy, this might be the realest post I've ever seen any athlete say towards their own sport. Heck, this might be the realest post I've just ever seen in general. Like, it's freaking amazing. So Destiny posts that she'll be retiring from the sport of tennis at the end of this year. So 2026 will be the last time that anybody will ever see Destiny playing professional tennis. Makes an announcement, but then she shares a little bit of, growing up, how she, chased the dream to play tennis. She talks about her relationship with the sport when she became pro at 17, both the good and the bad. Part of her statement, which I'm going to read, was just like, I freaking loved it. But this is what she said. She said, I want to say a ginormous F you to everyone in the tennis community who's ever made me feel less than. F you to every single gambler who sent me hate or death threats. F you to the people who sit behind screens on social media, commenting on my body, my career, or whatever the F they want to nitpick. And F you to a sport that hides behind so-called class and gentlemanly values. Behind the white outfits and traditions is a culture that's racist, misogynistic, homophobic, and hostile to anyone who doesn't fit its molds. If you have been following Destiny on social media, then this shouldn't really come as a shock. I'm more shocked that it took her this long, to be honest. The way that Destiny has been treated by the tennis community, by the general public, everybody should be ashamed of themselves. I'm willing to bet that if Destiny knew that this is what the culture was going to be like, she probably would have pursued a different career. At 25 years old, Destiny is going to retire. Why? She worked her entire life to play a sport that negatively affected her relationship with herself, her body, her mental health, her family, her self-worth and confidence. She was chasing something that brought her more grief than peace. She worked her entire life to play a sport that in the end, in her experience, racist, misogynistic, homophobic towards people that look like her. She worked her entire life to be bullied and harassed in person and online. Countless comments from strangers and people commenting on her weight, probably coming from fat ass people sitting on the couch, placing bets and losing, and then commenting on a professional athlete's body, talking about how she sucks and that she should quit. And if you follow her, then you know what I'm talking about, because she had been reposting DMs from people who have lost money. Here's the thing about betting, guys. If you can't afford to bet, don't do it. As a Samoan, it's actually so sad to see her go through this. She represented us out on the big stage, out in the world. She took us with her wherever she went. She was always proud to represent Samoa. And so to see her go through all this, it's kind of sad. Also, in part of her statement, she actually thanked the Pacific Island community. That just goes to show that, we did back her and we did support her and that she felt it. She's homegrown here in the southeast of Melbourne. She's one of us. I'm surprised that this didn't happen sooner. With the amount of abuse that she's received, for her to go through that this whole time says a lot about, her and who she is and how strong she is. Shout outs to Destiny for making such a big call at such a young age. But I think it is okay to redefine yourself. A lot of people be like, what the hell? So many people would love to be in your position. How can you quit? You're a professional athlete. To those people, I say, shut up. Tennis is what she does. Tennis is not who she is. There's more to Destiny than just tennis. And I think we're going to see that now. Now that she's going to, retire, I think we'll see a lot more of Destiny. And, she's a personality, man. I'm a big fan of her. At the same time, I feel like there's a lot of healing that needs to take place for Destiny. And, I hope that she can find the space to do so. And I hope that we are able to support her in that. Something that I've always said, if the workplace or the environment that you are in is toxic, then you need to get out, because you cannot heal in the same place that made you sick. Destiny, if tennis is the workplace that's toxic, staying there is not going to help her. She needs to get out. The healing needs to take place outside of that whole environment. One of the things that we can take away from the situation is that we need to speak up, even if it's going to cause some sort of controversy. I'd rather that than silent endurance. It's going to keep eating away at you until you address the situation. We need to address the toxicity, the toxic behavior that we see. Little things that we're like, we'll just let that slide. No, we can't let things like that slide. These things need to be addressed. Shout out to Destiny, man. Wishing her all the best. Hope she has a killer final year of tennis. And, when that chapter is over, we look forward to seeing what you're going to do next. I feel like her decision to quit tennis isn't just about tennis. It's about reclaiming ownership over herself, her mental health, her future. I do hope that Destiny knows is how much of inspiration she has been to the Pacific Islander community, especially our young women who, are going to look up women professional athletes, see Destiny and see all our other strong females in other sport codes and, tennis especially, because she's the only one. So she's opened the pathway. She's paved the way. She's paving the way for young athletes, and also showing us the real of what it's really like there, or what it can be like there. This is her experience. It's valid. I thank her for sharing it and wish her all the best this year.